Tell me, traveler, do you have any regrets? Of course you do. We all do. They say regrets are the foundation of wisdom, for if we do not regret our mistakes, we are damned to repeat them. Our successes, meanwhile, need not to be remembered, for they only serve to bolster our temerity. That is why a general is hunted not by his victories in the battlefield, but those that slip from his grasp. When you value trivial things, you yourself will become trivial when those qualities fade. But I suppose even then you can cling to the lifeboat of denial. I can do no such thing. I will not grasp for air while I lie at the bottom of this trench. The thief, the one that got away, an Imperial woman based on the reports, and a lone operative. She's burglarized homes of a number of notable lords, thanes, and nobles. At times, she's even ransomed their children. She's outfoxed the city guards, evaded the Ocularists, and even managed to rankle prominent members of the Thieves' Guild. Unfortunately, the resources of the Empire are exhausted in tracking her down and forced the Elder Council to suspend all pursuit. Given the state of the Imperial coffers, it was cheaper to let her run free and compensate the aggrieved for their losses. Only I remain dedicated to the cause of justice, and what I lack in men and resources, I make up for in will. I've chased her across Tamriel for the last 15 years, and I believe I'm closer than ever to catching her. I'm not sure what I find more incredulous, that you were a thief, or that you'd advertise this fact in the office of the Penitus Oculatus. Either way, you're not my problem any longer. I'm retired. It's the only way I can pursue this case without being reprimanded by my superiors. There have been several witnesses' accounts of a raven-haired thief posing as a bard. As you know, most who reside here are light of hair and tall in stature, which already narrows down the list of possible culprits. And while there are bards in Skyrim from here to Riften, there is only one capable of playing that song. Dusk at that little harbor was its name, if I call it correctly. A beautiful but solemn tune about the sunset over the Gold Coast and the tragic death of a loved one. A favor from the late Commander Morrow. He owed me from back when he was an initiate, and I was his inspector. More like what didn't happen. Commanders like Morrow may seem like hard, unyielding men, and there is certainly that side to them. There is also the side that is a caring father, the loving husband and humble servant of the Empire. The side of kindness is something that is almost innate. Even as children, we know the value of friendship, empathy, and love. The other side, the one that makes you a man, that must be forged through a crucible of blood, sacrifice, and at times, even apathy. It may surprise you to find out that the initiation for both the Dark Brotherhood and the Penitus Oculatus are one and the same. Both ask their initiates to shed the blood of a stranger as proof of their fealty, their mettle, and willingness to do the hard thing. When first presented with this task, Commander Morrow faltered, as do all men of conscience. It was then that I broke the rules. I told him who the target was, or more precisely what he was. It is as you might expect. Recruits are chosen for various positions and given tasks to determine their aptitude and readiness. Ironically, before he became Chief of Security, Commander Morrow was originally recruited as an assassin. In the Penitus Oculatus, the assassin is merely a tool. He's required to kill without questioning his orders. This is because the most dangerous of enemies typically come from within. The very advisors the Emperor trusts most are the ones likely to betray him. Withdrawal of power is a form of skooma that corrupts even the best of us. The assassin is the potion that purges it from the system. As such, he is often asked to target the very people he takes orders from, in order to serve the will of the only person he answers to. The life of an assassin is far from pleasant, which is why when Mara became a father, he chose a new path. True enough, there is much misconception that the Pinty Circulatus acting as a security force implies being strictly defensive unit. On the contrary, the best way to stop an assassination is to root out the conspirators before their plans take form. As a former assassin, Commander Mara had the advantage of knowing how the enemy operates, and that is why he was chosen as the chief security agent. Sometimes the need for vengeance is but kindle to the fire of a determined evil. I confess I don't know all the details, but I saw the anger in Commander Mara's eyes, and that alone can cause smart men to err. And I know the importance of family, and the kind of obsessions that can derive from losing one. I do. It's been burned into the bone of my skull, from sketches and wanted posters and images from another time. A raven-haired woman, 32 years of age, with an aquiline nose and eyes the color of steel. She is as fearsome as an orc, but can be as cunning as a diplomat, and if need be, can charm me with the grace of a sylph. What are you implying? One cannot evade the Pinita Circulatus and not earn a measure of respect, and one cannot defy them without earning their wrath. I am a soldier, sworn in the service of the Pinita Circulatus, sworn to uphold the law. If someone breaks the law, it matters not whether they are the Raven of Anvil or the Emperor's own kin. They are all criminal scum. Yes, I thought it was best to give her a name that was more memorable and identifiable. All reports are at times conflicting, but the most reliable agree on one point. The girl has hair as black as a raven, so dark that it seems to devour the light around it. And like the ominous bird, she is not to be trusted, and the very sight of her is a wicked portent for those who have worked hard for their wealth. None more so than the Countess of Anvil, when her weakness opened the doors of the Great Hall to this eater of carrion. The Countess's cousin had passed away, and she was now on her 12th day of mourning. She refused to eat, and refused to sleep. Soon her court was deprived of the same. As her mood grew more and more contemptuous, it seemed nothing would allay her grief. Many bards and poets came from all over Tamriel to celebrate the life of a cousin, in hopes of appeasing the Countess. Yet it seemed that even time itself had given up all hope, until the day a raven-haired minstrel walked into the castle and gently strummed her lute. Those who were in attendance insisted that it was the saddest song ever heard by mortal ears. They claimed the sky rained for 7 days and 7 nights, as both the Countess and the divines exhausted all the tears. That night, the entire court slept for the first time in weeks, and when they awoke, they found their cases and coffers emptied of their valuables. It is a sad story, a tale of 2 deaths and 1 birth. The girl had talent to give the world a gift of joy, but she chooses to lead a life that brings nothing but sorrow.
So, who do you think deserves the dragon breath mead best?
She has indeed.
Holda or Holda?
She's stolen my sanity, my youth,
I don't
and
think
nearly all of
any
my
them
will.
deserve it.
Perhaps it is because I am nearing the infirmity of old age
thirsty.
that I long for closure.
Aren't you?
Forgive me, but I no longer wish to speak of such things. Good day. Can I help you? They say when dealing with others, you have to know when to use the carrot, when to use the stick. Yet by when, they really mean on whom. I think the word when is rather appropriate. There's more than just differences from person to person. People themselves can have very different personalities depending on the time of day. You never want to berate your spouse, for instance, first thing in the morning. Older seems to neglect this advice. Life is easy when your goals are small. When your goals are large, the problem comes not from failure, but from your inability to cope with it. Whether you reach for the stars or plow the earth, don't let the task consume you. If only I could take such sage advice. Safe travels.
What I do for you? Tidings, Sirrah. My name is Asteria, a traveling bard on her way to Markarth. If you would like to hear a song, do not hesitate to make a request. I require no coin or patronage for my services. All I ask in return is the following favor. Should my verse please you, then I would be most gracious if you spread word of my song to the citizens of the Reach. It's good to see that there are those in Skyrim who still speak with grace and live with honor. Bards are quite territorial, and there are many in Markarth who already call the Silver Blood Inn their home. In Old Roldan, I can ply my trade without having to contend for the floor. There's also the advantage of novelty. Just as a meal is most delicious when one's hunger is at its peak, the emotion of a song is best felt by those with virgin ears. Although I must confess, I do like the atmosphere of a traditional Nord inn. I love warm beds and homely smells, and also jewels, although I suppose one of those three has nothing to do with Old Roldan. I hail from Cyrodiil, but I've plied my trade in Hammerfell and High Rock, and have tales to tell from each. Certainly. For a fortnight, I had stayed outside the halls of Skingrad, in hopes of obtaining an audience with the Count. After many attempts, I decided to head west, on the Gold Road to Gavach, passing through the tomato fields that quilted the land outside the gate. It was then that my eyes set upon a frail old man, weeping at the base of a tree. He had lost his sister to vampirism, and had walked all of Cyrodiil retrieving the ingredients for her cure. Yet it came at a terrible cost. From life came death, and from hope bloomed sorrow. She died less than 10 days after she was cured, for vampirism was the cure for time, and time is the deadliest disease of all. Not at the Bard's College, if that's what you're implying. I'm very much a bard, however, or I wouldn't advertise my services as such. If my skill were lacking, you would discover that soon enough. A sword maiden, for instance, could not profess her skill in battle and then show up to the arena with her armor on backwards. Nor can I claim to be a bard if my lute collects more dust than coin. Even here in Old Roldan, there's always someone with a story. A lost loved one, a new job, a family reunion, a long goodbye. And whether it's good, bad, or sad, a story always needs a tune. They do say that some of the greatest discoveries are born not from design, but accident. Although most accidents never reach such lofty heights. As you wish. What would you like me to play? An unusual request, to say the least. Are you by chance from the Gold Coast? Although it is not a well-known tune even there. However, you're in luck. As I hail from Cyrodiil, I am well versed in songs of all varieties, and songs of melancholy are my specialty. touch the coast, harboured in twilight's blue.
Strange.
On came the sunlight, and with dusk it fades from our view. Calm embraces the sky, while storms rage in our hearts. For honor, glory, and love, from Anvil we do depart. The fire lights the path, and the salt it sprays in our eyes. But warriors born of stone, they are never afraid to die. Bells on the docks, they cry out for the mortal day. And winds sing the dirge for the words we never could say. And sails fly at half-mast in the color of evening's hue. And tears break the silence for the children we almost knew. When dawn kissed the ocean, from the golden light came our birth. And when dusk falls on the harbor, to the golden shores we will return.
What can I do for you?
Well met, Sarah. It's the very same. From whom, may I ask, did you hear the tale? Aren't you a clever one? And what strings would that be? The strings of a lute? The strings of a coin purse? Or the strings of a fastened tunic? Some hands are deft with one and clumsy with another, whereas others are masters of all three. Yet I am no thief. Why risk stealing coin when I could just as easily play for it?
Njörda Stornarm doesn't seem to be very impressed with you. Not even now when you're
Why,
doing a
yes.
harbinger.
Besides, if I were truly the Raven of Anvil, why play the song? Why not cover my hair with a cloth?
I don't know about the Stormcloaks. Ulfric seems fairly level-headed, but Gallimar...
You're
you think he is a
persistent
bit,
and clever.
obsessed?
I like that. All right, clever girl. I will say this and nothing more. There was once a loyal and dedicated soldier who held beside him a great big shield. For king and country he raised it high, shielding himself from arrow and sword. And when his king raised the
Well,
land and
I
raped
guess
his
she's
people,
rather sweet after
he used
all.
it to shield his eyes. It began as a song of goodbyes, and so it ended.
Have you got enough
The
lockpicks?
first was written by a
Else maybe I
wife,
can make a few.
whose soldier
All I
husband
need is
left for
iron
war.
ingots. And
The
a
second
forge, of
goodbye
course.
was that of a widowed husband, one who chose his rulers over the gods. The third belongs to their daughter, who mourns the life of her mother and the death of her innocence. She may. A bard hears many rumors on the road, some of which are quite valuable to those who work in the
This is fun,
shadows.
isn't it?
To the left of the entrance to Markarth, you will find a storeroom, with a workbench and a man, a guard by the name of Lundvar. Blood stains his eyes, and mead
I'd heard
frosts
that the
his
mage
breath.
in Winterhold
He is
turned
short for a
young girl
Nord,
into a frog
yet
when he
nothing
tried to
short of an
remove her
honorable
freckles
one.
with an enchantment.
What he does not know is he has
Scary,
been
isn't it?
betrayed. When you tell him this, his lips will be as loose as his throat is wet. He knows the location of a ledger, one that names the greatest bards in all of Skyrim. I would pay good coin to have my name atop it.
One does not have to be a lunatic to talk to oneself. Definitely not.
That is a heavy accusation, Sarah. Rumors are but ghosts, and it's best we don't pay them any heed. But I'll allow it this one
Isn't
time,
it
if you do as I
romantic?
ask.
Erin rescued Njord
Take this
outside
letter
the
to the
ruin
guardsman.
and nursed her back
When
to
you have
health.
gained his trust,
I
you will
wonder-
ask him a favor.
Would you do the same
To
for
write
me?
my name on a ledger of famous bards. Nothing more. As for your payment, I will give you half of it now. When my name is on that list, you'll receive the rest.
Need something?
Farewell.
Speak. That's a good question. The captain of the guard was in here just a moment ago, asking the same thing. To be honest, I've spent so much time alone, I never noticed he was missing. Maybe he took a leave of absence. Fled? Shore's beard. What do you mean, fled? What in oblivion would he be running from? This is from Uthmar? He says my brother was betrayed by the city guard. This can't be. A Nord would never betray his own watch brother. You know nothing, foreigner. A Nord will die as a beggar, eating a pile of his own waste before he soils himself with blood money. And yet, for some reason, when I read this letter, my gut tells me its words ring true. What has the world come to when a man can't even trust a fellow Nord? But if there's corruption in our city, we need to root it out. I owe it to my brother to do so. I don't know why you brought me this letter, but I thank you. I hope Uthmar finds peace wherever he is. Sure, but if you think I will sully myself to get revenge, I'm sorry, but I won't. The ones who killed my brother will rot in cinder mine until the end of days. But it will be the Jarl who gives the sentence. I swore an oath to protect the city and the law, and I will die 1,000 deaths before I break it. Somewhere in Sovngarde, my brother is nodding his head, because if it were me who died, he would say the same. pretend she doesn't know my brother. He didn't want a fancy funeral in front of people who would use his death for politics. Besides, if she's so good, why not ask Ingvar the singer to update the list? He's the one who keeps it. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to think about what I'm going to say to the captain.
Come on in. We got warm food, warm drinks.
Need something?
How can I help you?
I see.
That was poor judgment on your part. If the singer notices the list went missing, all my plans would be for naught. By Zenithar, you're right. This oaf isn't an oaf at all. He writes like a pompous lord. He did the right thing to bring this back here. No way someone with his tongue this far down his own crotch wouldn't notice a change in flavor. Oh my, Sarah. Whatever do you mean? Is that what you were expecting? Well, forget it. We don't have time for pretenses. This journal needs to be back in Yingvar's pocket before he tries to stroke himself and accidentally finds it missing. But where am I going to find a forger that isn't loyal to the Silverbloods? There was an elf here the other day, wearing fake college robes. He said he had a relative near Windhelm. See if you can find him. It's as I told you. He's a murderer. There really isn't much more I care to say. Everything I told you was true. I never would have lasted this long if it wasn't. Think of it this way. You can dress a beggar in fine furs and drape amulets around his neck. But as soon as the stupid fetcher opens his mouth, he'd be completely undressed. That's what a lie is. Layers upon layers that can all fall apart with a single truth. So I don't lie. I tell it to you straight. Only I dress my words in the bard's tongue. So that you, Sarah, will find the kindness to grant favor to my cause, even if you know not what I seek. Until next time.
Need something?
Him? Oh no, he's a bit daft when it comes to writing. Besides, he's too busy making curved swords. But I do know an Argonian who does excellent forgeries. I once asked him to make a Jarl's decree that pies were a type of vegetable. Problem is, I heard he ran into a bit of trouble stitching together guard uniforms for a group of bandits. Well, apparently they weren't good enough to trick some mad dark elf who hunts lawbreakers. So the bandits decided to take it out on my poor friend. Chances are he isn't alive, or in one piece, but we could try and rescue what's left of him. Yes, although there might be a significant bounty in it for us. Do bandits put up bounties? Like, on guards they don't like? It would only be fair. No, I imagine it's going to hurt either way, at least for him. Bandits aren't the gentlest of forest creatures. More than an idea, I know the exact location of their hideout. I was pretending to be his bodyguard when he made the deal. Knife Point Ridge was the name, over in Fall Creek. If he's alive, we'll find him there. Alright then.
Look, I didn't tell them anything. I'm just a passing peddler. I don't even know why they're keeping me alive.
Oh, come on, Sunken Roots. You would...
Yes, dear?
Martin, what are you doing here?
What does it look like, saving your scaly tail?
And for this, I should be grateful? You're half the reason I'm in here. Or have you forgotten the fake decree I made for you?
Oh, right. I still haven't paid you for that, have I?
That's right. And if you paid on time, I wouldn't have to take jobs like this.
Fine. If you're going to be such a sod about it, we'll just let you rot in there.
No, please. Take me with you. Your companion is rotten, but you are a sensible, decent person. Please, you must help me. Yes, I will do anything you ask. We just need to get my things. They should be in a cabin somewhere nearby. The bandits, they were having me write bounty letters for a vigilante that was killing their men, which they would take to the inn dressed as guards. They always blindfold me when they move me back and forth, but I know it isn't very far from here. Yes, I can do that. It will be as if this person penned it with his own hand. In fact, if he's not a member of the court, I don't even need a seal. Just lead the way.
If I die, I want you to bury me in a coffin made of pie.
Now, where is my satchel? Ah, there it is. I'm sure my tools are still inside. Nobody ever checks the secret compartment.
Well, it isn't a secret now, is it? Mental note, check for secret compartments.
You're as insufferable as ever, Martin.
Thank you. I'd hate to think I was slipping.
In any event, I will forge this document as promised. Looking at this list, we want to mirror these parts with evidence. So, we don't want to boast about Asteria's voice too much. No offense, but what if she isn't very good? I think, and this is just my opinion, but we ought to maybe appeal to other things, like cost and availability.
You did say she plays primarily an old Hroldan, right? And this journal is from a bard in Markarth. Sounds like a cheap neighborly bard to me.
Alright, There we have it. A perfect forgery. Now, if you two are on your way to Markarth, I'll be headed in the other direction. Kynes Grove sounds like the perfect watering hole for me. I don't want to get caught up in whatever it is you're planning. In fact, not to sound ungrateful because you saved my life, but it's probably better if we pretend we never met, us being accomplices and all.
Sure, that works for me.
I was talking about your friend. You still... Alright, you win. I was a fool to think you would ever pay anyway.
Well, that should tie everything up in a neat little bow. You got your forgery, I got my debt erased, and Sunken Roots got his life back. It's your classical happy ending. Unless you're a bandit, then it went about as badly as one could expect.
Yes?
If you drink too much, come on in. Let me know if you need anything. Or take a seat by the fire and I'll send someone over.
Alright, I did some scouting, and it seems there's a bit of an upheaval with the guard. The Jarl doesn't seem to trust all of them. Or any of them, for that matter. He's hired a bunch of sellswords to guard his chamber. It also doesn't help that before he left, my bastard father sent letters to all the stewards, warning them about a possible theft. No, I'll play it. And it'll be all the more proof to those piss drinkers I'm not the Raven of Anvil. They won't realize I have an accomplice. What about your end? I trust you are able to handle things? Good. We better head on over to Markarth then. If we're lucky, we'll catch him on the way.
I work for Ildis.
Hey,
She runs
watch
the inn.
it!
I've been looking for you. Got something I'm supposed to deliver. Your hands only. Let's see here. Yeah, got this note. You've got friends in high places. Looks like that's it. Got to go.
I feel so sad when I see the body of an adventurer.
This is it. A summons from the Jarl. It says I've been granted the privilege of playing before him. This snowback has the nerve to call me privileged? I can just picture the milk dribbling from his chin. Yeah, but it's his fault for staying that way. In any case, meet me at the Silverblood Inn. We need to discuss our plans. I'm sure you're eager to find out exactly what we'll be stealing from this privileged little fetcher.
Beware, beware, the Dragonborn comes. Hey, how many dragons do you think you have killed by now? Must be more than 30.
Need something?
This is the silver blood. Sure thing. It's yours for a day. I'll show you to your room. Right this way. Let me know if there's anything else you need.
Well, I guess you're wondering what this is all about. First, the prize. There's a safe filled with jewels in the Jarl's bedchamber. That's all yours. Consider it the second half of my payment. But what I need is the document that's underneath. I'll provide the distraction. The court will be easy enough. Just a bunch of haughty nobles with ice spikes so far up their ass they piss snow. The mercs, though, they might not leave until the finale. But given the fame of the Raven of Anvil, when I play Dusk on Anvil Harbor, they'll all come. They always do. All you need to do is pick the lock before I finish my set. Take too long and you'll have to fight your way out. Now, the most important thing. Don't be late. You should arrive at 3 o'clock, but no later than 5. I'll time my performance to your arrival. It's not worth a bloody septum to anyone but me. So you'd be a horker's ass if you kept it for yourself. What do you want, a map? Look, it's not exactly the Dwemer Museum. You'll have enough time to find it. Here, I've made myself mostly invisible. In the keep, the two of us will stand out like a wart on a countess's nose. That's why I'm getting an early start tomorrow. You shouldn't arrive until I get to the end of my set. That's when I'll draw the mercs. As many as it takes. When I see you enter the keep, I'll play Mogo's Mead. That'll be the signal that the next song is Dusk on Anvil Harbor. I always set up the sad tunes by playing that one first. It gets everybody up before I send them crashing down. Do you mean did it rain 7 days and 7 nights after I played? Gods no. The rest of it went pretty much as they say. When the Countess was appeased, the court fell asleep in their exhaustion. Who could blame them? The poor woman had kept them up for nearly a fortnight. As to why she favored my song, I don't know. There were bards with better voices, and bards who could play far more deftly than I. But I guess the Countess wasn't interested in any of that. All she wanted was a bard who understood her grief. Now that's enough talk. We'll meet back at Old Hroldan when it's all done. Get some rest. Tomorrow's a big day. What are you doing? We shouldn't be seen together.
Damn those forsworn. Think they can kill people in thy city? I'll have Madanach's head. Stupid dog.
Oh, there once was a hero named Ragnar the Red, who came riding to Whiterun from Ulrorikstead. And the braggart did swagger and brandish his blade, as he told of all battles and gold he had made. But then he went blind and Ragnar the Red, and met the shield maiden Matilda, who said, "Oh, you talk and you lie and you drink all our mead. Now I think it's time you lay down and bleed. And so then came clashing and slashing of steel as the brave lass Matilda charged in full of zeal. And the braggart named Ragnar was boastful no more when his ugly red head rolled around on the floor.
Excellent. Just like in the tears.
Your words do me honor, my Jarl. I will do my best not to betray them. For my next song, I will play a tavern favorite, Mogo's Mead, a song the commoners love, but even a Jarl can appreciate.
Oh, very much so. Now that's some fine honey.
Myself a maiden fair with emerald eyes and fire red hair. She owned a tavern by the sea and served warm drinks of mellow honey. Drink ye merry, drink ye thirsty, bring the crew and revel.
Oh, did you need something?
One thing we're all agreed, that Mogo made the finest mead. Mogo's mead, the only drink we'd ever need. Take a flask and take a seat, and drink thyself a sweetie treat. I thank you for your applause. Please, I am not deserving of such praise. Alas, it is with great regret that I inform you that my next song will be my last. Nobles, thanes, housecarls, and of course, my Jarl, to be allowed to play you today has been an honor that mere words cannot express. I hope that this final song will properly convey my gratitude, for they say music is a language that transcends borders, politics, and station. Thus, I bring you this dirge from my birth home in Cyrodiil, a city near the Gold Coast by the name of Anvil. And just as the first anvils were made of stone, so is the city of marble. Thus, our cities are bound together in hardship, sadness, and strife. And so, I present to you Dusk on Anvil Harbor. Waves touch the coast.
It ain't true what they say about you and the Dark Brotherhood, is it?
Dawn came the sunlight, and with dusk it fades from our view. Fog embraces the sky, while storms rage in our hearts. Glory and
Oh, did you need something? seat by the fire and I'll send someone over.
Now here's a woman I'm glad. Yeah, she was here, but she left. If you leave now, you can probably catch her. Until next time.
I'll be taking that, thank you very much. Have to keep a low profile after you butchered all those mercs. Damn unprofessional is what that was. Oh well, what's done is done. That blood's on your hands, not mine. I'm just glad I got what I came for. Sorry, but that's not something I care to say. I never make friends, and I rarely work with the same person twice. So for us, this is it. You greedy little fetcher. Fine, here's your gold. And if we never see each other again, it'll be too soon.